Bitcoin is in full price discovery as it went all the way to $123,000 today. The big question now is, when will altcoins follow this rally, and if they will? Can we get a sustained altcoin season? It almost feels like that word is cursed and you're not allowed to say it anymore. So today I will look at the last 2 times when Bitcoin made a clear breakout in the past 3 years and observe what happened to the altcoin market right after. This will give us clear indication not only on how long this short altcoin run can last, but also what kind of sectors are actually likely to catch on to the Bitcoin wave. Is it going to be all across the board or something more specific? Before we start, make sure to check out my new trading bots covering my bull market strategy using the link in the description. So last week, I have already outlined the price levels, the price ranges that I have set up for the 4 other bots: XRP, Superverse, BitTensor, TAO, and PEPE. These are the coins that I have held in my portfolio for a very long time. XRP not including, but I've been meaning to build a position. These are now ready for copy links directly using Ponex. And these are not too far away from my entry prices yet. XRP, for example, we opened the bot at 273. Right now it's 295. Only about 10% difference. And the bot is already doing its job, up 15%. You see Super is up 21%, TAO 6%, PEPE is actually down right now, so still good range. And we also have our Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana bots still doing well. The Ethereum bot is already up 38%. So check out the first link in the tutorial in the description for a video tutorial and the other links with copy links and their settings. Okay. So without further ado, let's get into the Bitcoin price first. I don't want to overcomplicate things for you guys. So Bitcoin is in a bull market, very clear. This is not a blow off top. That's also very clear. I'm not saying that I know for a fact I know exactly where the Bitcoin top is, but nobody else knows either. So whoever tells you, oh, Bitcoin is at 120K, you must sell now, they're just randomly guessing. Okay, the only data-based strategy we can employ on Bitcoin right now is by following the past cycle's price deviations and how much of a correction can still be considered a correction versus how much of a drop is considered the end of the bull market. So we can't just use a upside target and say it hits here, it has to be topped, right? That's nonsense. So to me, I have outlined this many times with you guys already. That's the 50-week SMA, this dark blue line. This is a very long-term moving average, and it's even much longer term than the 2021 cycle. But this cycle, this level is very significant. You see here it tested, but both times it held up. So we only know that the bull market has ended if Bitcoin drops below the 50-week simple moving average, which is currently at 88K. So you might say, well, hold on a second, then, we can't sell. That's not the case. As price moves higher, this 50-week SMA will also inch up higher as well. So what will end up happening, most likely, is Bitcoin will just continue chugging along, and this 50-week SMA will end up overtaking the last high we made at around 106, 107K. And then at that point, these levels get flipped from resistance into new support. So that's still my exit strategy until the Bitcoin price converges with the 50-week SMA again and drops below it and closes below it on a weekly time frame. That's my only signal to say Bitcoin has ended the bull market and I should sell all my position. Until that happens, I will treat every dip as a buy. And if price goes up, I will simply be very happy to keep holding Bitcoin. That doesn't mean, okay, I'm saying like Bitcoin can drop from 120K all the way to 88K in one day. That's most likely not going to happen. What's much more likely is for Bitcoin to, do something more slowly like this, and then for the SMA to catch up, and then some point later down the line, maybe the next 6 to 12 months, Bitcoin has risen enough to whatever the price it may be, and then it will slowly correct. But at that point, maybe it doesn't bounce when it touches this level and just continues to trend down slowly. This is the point that I will exit. And this point will most likely be higher than the current price already at 120K. So that's why, you really don't have to worry about this. It will still take quite a long time. Okay. Now, I also have some other arrow charts that I have drawn on the previous rallies and what I'm expecting for Bitcoin's current move. That's the second segment I want to talk to you guys about. So when will we get another big dip, and will there be another dip? So a lot of people that haven't bought Bitcoin are saying that, Bitcoin is at 120K, now I have to wait until it drops below 100K again and then I'll buy. So it's possible for that to happen. And obviously, if it drops to this 20-week SMA, that's a really good buying range. That's usually the value range right now at 98K. However, this cycle, it hasn't been the case because if you look back to 2023, summer 2023, what we have had for this cycle is that Bitcoin rallies and breaks above the previous resistance, the previous high, and then it doesn't stop until it makes a very big move up, usually between 40 to 60%, on average 50%. You see that's back here from June 2023 when Bitcoin consolidated around 30K and broke out above 30K. It didn't, stop at 35K and went back to 28K. Instead, it went all the way, you see on the weekly candle. The next down closing weekly candle was at 44K. So from 31K to 44K, that's a 45% gain. Okay. And then following that, we have the second breakout from December 2023 after Bitcoin consolidated a bit in this range from 40 to 45K. Remember, it didn't drop all the way down below 30K again. The next weekly candle close that's in the red was at 70K. So again, that's even bigger. That's a 60% move. And this was very sharp, right? This happened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. That's all it took from Bitcoin to go 44.5K to 71.6K. And then it consolidated for a very long time. And then it had this breakout again, this time from 71K to 107K. And this was yet again the similar pattern, right? It took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candles, 7 weeks for a 50% move before the next actually red candle. And even with this multi-months, I think this correction was 2-3 months, it didn't close below the previous breakout range again. So the previous breakout was 71K. This right here was only at 76, 77K. So that's why if you're waiting on the sidelines and saying, okay, I want to buy Bitcoin now, if Bitcoin drops below 100K again, looking at the last 3 rallies, you're unlikely to get that. What's more likely, based on how Bitcoin has run in this cycle, is for us to literally over the next 1 to 2 months run up 50% to 160K. And then for the 50-week SMA to go up above this previous breakout range around 106, 107K. Let's say it goes to 115 to 120K. Bitcoin does this, and then it comes down to touch the 50-week SMA when it has run up enough. This is the same pattern that has played out 3 times. As you can see here, here, here. So that's why I really don't want to take profit too soon on this rally. And if anything, Bitcoin has shown this type of pattern since October 2023. So there's no reason to say that this rally is different. Now, I know a lot of people will say, oh my God, like 150K, 160K, that's crazy, right? I'm not going to complain. Like, if it happens, great. We can all dream, right? If it goes to 150, 160K in 1.5 months, I'll be very happy. I got to be honest with you, because like I've been holding so much Bitcoin. So I would not be mad at all if that happens. And I really don't want to see this fresh breakout that we just had to be weaker than here, or here, right? Because effectively, if Bitcoin just corrects right now, back down below 100K, what's that going to look like? That's going to look a lot weaker than this move up that we had in November, December last year, this move up that we had in February 2024, and then this move up we had in October, November 2023. So if we want to see Bitcoin being long-term bullish, we want to see similar types of moves instead of 10% move and it gets retraced, right? Think about it like that. So that's why, I'm not really even wanting Bitcoin to correct here, even though, I could always buy more, but I would much rather for us to just follow the same pattern that we had this cycle, which would be much more convincing that Bitcoin is still not running out of steam. Okay, so that's on Bitcoin. Now, what happens next to altcoins according to the previous 3 rallies that you see here? When Bitcoin finishes one of these consolidations and makes a new high, what has happened to altcoins this cycle? Now, I want to give you a major warning up front, and let me pull up the Bitcoin dominance chart. So I have always held this belief on a long-term basis that until we see something like this, where Bitcoin dominance breaks below the 50-week SMA here, unlike this here and unlike this here, and it shows weekly lower highs and lower lows, a downtrend. Until this happens, we don't have the true altcoin season long-term. Even in the best case scenario right now, altcoins can only run while Bitcoin keeps making new highs. This was accompanied this Bitcoin dominance drop right here and around this period when Bitcoin dominance went sideways. So if you zoom out long enough, there hasn't been a longer altcoin run that is longer than 2 to 3 months. The maximum was 3 months back here. And this wasn't even when Bitcoin dominance was dropping. It was just going sideways. So the altcoin rallies are much more likely to only last 1 month at a time before Bitcoin just starts to be chopping again, right? Like here, like here, like here. So the only altcoin seasons, mini altcoin seasons we had was when Bitcoin made this 45% move, 60% move up, 50% move up. When Bitcoin was actively doing this, altcoins did do well. But because the run up was so short, about 1 month at a time, you don't have a long time. You can't really call it a multi-month altcoin season. When Bitcoin starts correcting and starts chopping, Bitcoin dominance starts rallying again like this. And you gave all the altcoin gains back. So that's why you got to be very careful. Okay, let me remove all the drawings right here. So each of these 1 to 2 months period are good times to be in the market, but by no means are they a long-term altcoin season that you can just ape in and forget about the holdings for 6 months at a time. All the altcoin charts I'll show you today have the same characteristic. They had huge amount of gains when Bitcoin dominance was dropping, like here, and when Bitcoin dominance was going sideways, like here, and when Bitcoin was making new highs. But right after that, when Bitcoin started to chop, Bitcoin dominance started to go up again, they gave all the gains back. So don't come at me next month when and if this happens, because Bitcoin starts chopping again, and tell me, oh, you told me like we're gonna have altcoin season for a year. That's not what I'm saying, because it hasn't happened in that extent before for this cycle. If you end up holding your altcoins for 6 months, you simply don't understand this thesis. This is not a macro altcoin season. We only have mini seasons that can last usually 1 month. Okay, that's a big warning up front for you guys. So with that being said, because Bitcoin is making new all-time high as we speak, 120K, everyone's very happy right now. They're willing to ape into new alts, just like here, just like here, just like here. Okay? So what I want to do is overlay this Bitcoin chart on top of the Bitcoin dominance chart and on top of other altcoin charts to show you what has happened, what can you see in terms of returns, which types of altcoins tend to run first and catch up the most quickly to Bitcoin. So first we have Bitcoin dominance, and let me overlay the Bitcoin price chart in purple just to reiterate my point from earlier. So you see October 2023, this was when Bitcoin broke above 30K. And Bitcoin went from 30K to 44K. This move up, Bitcoin dominance went sideways. So even though Bitcoin dominance didn't even drop, this was still a case of bullishness for altcoins, because that means altcoin total market cap was keeping up with Bitcoin total market cap. Now, because altcoin market is so spread out, this means Ethereum was back then wasn't Ethereum, it was Solana. So Solana was outpacing Bitcoin in a small extent, whereas smaller altcoins were outpacing Bitcoin, even though their market cap total was only going up to the same percentage alongside Bitcoin, because they were each altcoin had a smaller market cap. That means their price on average went up a higher amount. So that was October 2023 until March-ish 2024. We actually had two rallies when Bitcoin went from 30K to 44K, and then up here again when it went from 44K to 70K. Okay, both of these times were accompanied by Bitcoin dominance going sideways. That's the candlestick chart here. That's Bitcoin dominance. So this was a time where you could ape a lot of altcoins and do very well, outperform Bitcoin. And then following that, Bitcoin was chopping from March 2024 until here, October 2024, this purple chart. And you see Bitcoin dominance was rising until the election. So when Trump won the election week, first week of November, Bitcoin price started to go ballistic again, from 70K to 105K. And this was the big drop of Bitcoin dominance that lasted about a month, right? Because the election was so violent. Nonetheless, that was a mini alt season, followed by all of those gains being given back as Bitcoin started to chop again. Okay. So if Bitcoin actually ends up running pretty significantly here, let's say over the next month, from today, July 14th until mid-August, first week of August, if it does something like this to even 150K, Bitcoin dominance at least should go sideways, if not drop again, right? And if it drops, probably it will still stay above the 50-week SMA, this blue average line. So maybe something like this, just like the election week. This was a period that we can use to ape into altcoins. Okay, so that's what happened to Bitcoin dominance the last three times that Bitcoin was making a new all-time high. Sorry, not a new all-time high, a new local high, but this time it's all-time high. So let's break this down even more in depth here. Let's look at first in the October 2023 rally, when Bitcoin went from 30K to 74K. Bitcoin dominance was going sideways. What coins were running? Let's look at Ethereum. So we want to do all the charts in Bitcoin pair instead of USD pair, because even if the USD price of the altcoin was going up, that doesn't mean it outpaced Bitcoin. We're talking about altcoin season, which altcoins outpaced Bitcoin. So we're looking at all altcoin versus Bitcoin pairs instead of versus USD pair. So here's the chart of Ethereum. Back in October 2023, that's right here, Ethereum was actually dropping. Okay, so Ethereum did not do well. Solana did do really well. You see, October 2023 until all the way to March 2024, both of those rallies, when Bitcoin was making new highs, Solana was outpacing Bitcoin and even making new highs on its Sol BTC pair. This was the big repricing of Solana when it went from $20 to around, I forgot how high it was, like $200 at this peak, I want to say. That was super good, right? This was a major repricing of Solana from the bear market. I'll cover Solana as a very typical example of other coins that had similar moves in a bit. But let's just go down the list of coins that people care about the most. We also have XRP. So XRP, back in October 2023 until about March 2024, you see it was actually dropping against Bitcoin. This whole period, XRP did not make a move against Bitcoin. It bled. So what did this mean, that it was dead? No, because the next rally in November, when Bitcoin made a second high, look at this, right? XRP made the explosive move against Bitcoin. So this just goes to show you that just because a coin was not catching up to the previous wave doesn't mean it won't catch the second wave up. Because XRP was not running in the 2023 wave, but it did run in Q4 2024. Dogecoin is another very typical example where it made two rallies. So you see October 2023 to March 2024 right here. First, Dogecoin dropped a bit against Bitcoin, but then it went up. It had a rally against Bitcoin. And then on the election rally, Dogecoin had an explosive run against Bitcoin, even higher than the previous high here. Just some examples, okay? So the reason I wanted to show you these coins first is because there are basically, I want to say, three types of coins that are worthy to get into based on their previous performance against Bitcoin when Bitcoin made a new all-time high like this. Number one is if a coin is just super strong, and each time Bitcoin makes a new high, this coin makes a new high against its Bitcoin pair. Some examples of that, I don't know if I have seen an example like that yet. Let me see. I definitely had some. Yeah, interestingly enough, okay. Stellar and HBAR are similar examples of this. And actually XRP as well. So XRP, Stellar, HBAR, these all bled against Bitcoin in the October 2023 rally. But since Trump came into office, since he won the election, this rally, November 2024, was on XRP BTC, and it was the same on Stellar BTC right here. This was when Bitcoin went from 71K to 105K. And again, right away, as Bitcoin is making this new all-time high, Stellar, XRP, HBAR are making big moves. And so is Algorand, I believe, and so is IOTA. If you look on CoinMarketCap and you look at the top performers over a 7-day period, you see these are the top performers. Stellar, Algorand, Hedera, HBAR, IOTA, XRP. So these coins are all fitting in the same category. You can say they're payment coins. You can say they are, US friendly coins. They used to be CBDC coins or banking coins, whatever you want them to be, right? These usually have been running first, coins that are very similar to XRP in their narrative. So this is the first category of coins that I think will do well, just because they're so quick to react, okay? Second category is coins that are very established, so literally in the top 10, 15 rankings. If you go back to top rankings, the coins up here, so Ethereum, XRP, BNB, Solana, even Doge, Tron, Cardano, I would say Link, right? Because Link hasn't really run yet. So anything, let's say in the top 20 that did not run in the previous Bitcoin all-time high could catch a new bid in this new all-time high. Why do I say this? Look at the last 3 charts that we just covered, going back to 2023. So in 2023, Ethereum did not make a new high against Bitcoin. Ethereum bled against Bitcoin. As Bitcoin went from 30K all the way up to 70K, Ethereum went down in Bitcoin value. Solana went up in Bitcoin value. It went up by a lot, okay? XRP went down in Bitcoin value. However, did this mean Solana was going to outperform Ethereum and XRP on every Bitcoin rally? No. It always rotates, it always shifts. Look at what happened next. In the November 2024 rally, due to whatever reason, maybe it's Trump being very friendly to these US crypto companies, whatever. The fundamentals don't matter as much. But here, XRP started to really outperform. In November last year, XRP outperformed Solana when Bitcoin broke out, and it outperformed Ethereum. Now, this time around, it's Ethereum. So even though Ethereum bled so much in October 2023 till March 2024, did this mean Ethereum is dead? No, it did not. Because this time around this year, Ethereum started to print higher highs and higher lows against Bitcoin very early, since April, while Solana bled against Bitcoin. And XRP bled against Bitcoin. So it always ebbs and flows simply because whichever coin is beat down a lot, it's likely to catch a bid. Because we know Ethereum is not dying, XRP is not dying, Solana is not dying. Same thing for, BNB is not going anywhere, Cardano is not going anywhere. They're not going to die. So my point here is, this rally, it looks like Ethereum is leading in terms of its ratio versus Bitcoin. XRP is starting to catch up, and Solana is very slow. Okay, it hasn't rallied against Bitcoin yet. Now, you can apply this same analysis to other large caps, the real blue chips, right? BNB, Tron, what's up here? Doge. I wouldn't put Hyperliquid in that category yet because Hyperliquid is such a new coin, but I will put Cardano in there, Chainlink, Sui, Stellar, right? So, but don't want to say Stellar separate from XRP, so I think the two are just very similar. Same thing for Sui, very similar performance to Solana. So I think really what sets themselves apart in its own narrative is BNB, Tron, Doge, Cardano, okay? These are all very interesting because they all have very different price performance on their BTC ratio. For example, look at BNB. BNB is taking a huge beating against Bitcoin. As Bitcoin is making new all-time high, BNB is near cycle low against Bitcoin valuation. What's happening? I don't know, but my gut tells me that this is a similar scenario that we're seeing on Ethereum in like last year and on Solana in 2023. there's no reason for BNB to not eventually run up with the market, because Binance is still the largest exchange. Why should BNB coin underperform BTC for such an extended time? It just doesn't make sense, right? So BNB actually right here is even a better risk to reward ratio than Ethereum, Solana, XRP. Literally nobody's talking about it. And it's near November, December 2023 ratio performance against Bitcoin. Remember back here, Bitcoin was still at 30K, right? So that was peak despair in the bear market. Same thing for Chainlink. Chainlink, look at this, like consistently bled against Bitcoin since, I mean, this is pretty nuts, right? It's had lower highs and lower lows. We are even lower than June 2023 levels on its Bitcoin valuation. I don't think Chainlink is going to die. So I think at some point it will make a comeback and make a comeback run. So albeit this is going to be harder because there's just no support in sight now, but maybe regulation really changes that puts Chainlink in the forefront. Maybe it's something all of a sudden, you know, regulators are very friendly towards DeFi. So far, they're only friendly towards layer one, so that might be the case. Same thing for Tron, right? Tron also has its own chart. Even though it has slowly made higher highs and higher lows, it has been very subdued. Right now, the Tron BTC ratio is about the same that we had in the bear market in July 2023. So you can't really say that Tron has had a major run up against Bitcoin yet. So out of the large caps, right, the coins that we know are going to be around, BNB is actually a super good buy right now, in my opinion. I don't know if this next month to 2 months, it's going to be like some sort of immediate catalyst to really propel BNB forward as a exchange coin that, you know, specifically maybe it's favored against Ethereum, the institutional coin, or the Solana, the retail, you know, on-chain trading coin, or XRP, the payments coin, the TradFi coin, or DOGE, the meme coin. I don't know what needs to change in terms of narrative for this to happen, but in terms of value, stuff like BNB is really ahead of Ethereum, Solana, and XRP now. So just something to consider, right? This is the second category of coins that are worth paying attention to. You can just hold things that have already run in the last rally from Q4 2024, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, or you could take a bet on something like BNB. Okay, the third category of coins are coins that could be a dark horse. So I don't really have any specifics because nobody can really find them that early, but I'll show you past examples, okay? Past examples of actual gems. So BitTensor TAO was born in 2023, okay? In summer 2023. And it was such good timing that AI was popular. ChatGPT was born in 2023, remember? And all of a sudden people were big into AI again. And TAO really caught on to this wave, right? This is the TAO USD chart where TAO went from $50 to $700, doing a 14x from how long is this? 5 months period, right? Did a 14x or 5 months period. And I believe I have a TAO BTC chart somewhere here. Do I have that? Where's my chart? Okay, let me type that in. TAO USDT divided by BTC USDT. This. Okay, so this is the TAO versus Bitcoin chart. And do a percentage here. Regular here. So when Bitcoin made its breakout from 30K to 45K, and then from 45K to 75K, TAO outperformed Bitcoin by how much? 5x. This is a classic example of a coin that really caught onto the narrative, launched at the right time, and when everyone is looking for the hot new thing, the shiny new narrative to ape into, they all found TAO at the same time. And this was the reason why TAO was able to outperform Bitcoin by 5x. Everything just clicked in place. Similarly for PEPE, another classic example. This is PEPE chart versus USD. So you see PEPE again was also born in summer 2023. It wasn't doing too much back here. This was only on-chain traders until Bitcoin made its breakout. And you see PEPE start to go crazy. It went from, I don't even know what that is, but it did a 18x in USD value after this breakout. And on the Bitcoin ratio, so from February 2024 until May 2024, just 3 months, PEPE outperformed Bitcoin by 6.6x. So really, in this next wave, can there be something similar to BitTensor TAO that just completely disrupts the AI sector, or PEPE that disrupts the meme sector? Yes. I think there could be 1 to 3 coins that does this by the time Bitcoin reaches 150K, because things are just clicking in place, right? Everyone is willing to ape into new shit. So keep an open mind. Something could happen through this period. What is it going to be? Is it going to be AI coin, meme coin, RWA coin, gaming? I don't know. Okay, nobody will know before it happens. But if you see something like PEPE, like TAO, where everyone on CT just starts to get into, and it's so different, so new, it's not just a derivative of another narrative, pay attention to that, because when Bitcoin is making new highs, these new narratives that are shiny can have higher legs. And this is potentially going to be alpha. So I'm changing my mindset a bit here, because Bitcoin is in price discovery. This kind of scenario could happen. When Bitcoin is chopping, it will not happen. But if something new comes along when Bitcoin is making new highs, this kind of thing can happen. So this is the third type of coins and opportunity that could present itself over the next 1.5 months. Okay. In summary, what are the coins that are going to give you the best returns right now? We know that this short altcoin run is going to last 1 month, sure, 1.5 months, sure, but not longer than 2-3 months. That's very far-fetched, looking at the last 3 years of performance. So that means you really want to focus on the blue chips. Okay, look at the coins that I've covered today. There are no low caps, right? All the coins that I mentioned so far are like top 20. And that's where my focus is right now. Even among the top 20, you don't have everything running yet. You only have Ethereum starting to run a little bit against Bitcoin, XRP starting to run a little bit against Bitcoin, Solana, where's Solana? Solana is still not bouncing hard against Bitcoin yet. So, but you can even still buy Solana right now at a very cheap valuation compared to Bitcoin over the past year. So there's no reason in my mind to be aping into random low caps yet. And even if these all start to run, you also have alternatives, right? For instance, when XRP runs, like right now, you have, even just among the top 30, you have Stellar, you have Hedera, HBAR, you have Algorand, XDC, IOTA. These are all in the same category of ISO 20022 coins, the payment coins, the US-based banking-friendly coins. They all run together, right? You just go down that list, see which ones haven't run yet. Let's say Solana starts to catch up, right? Solana starts to make a bounce against Bitcoin, let's say, and then your Solana position comes into profit. You can either go into the Solana ecosystem. There are a lot happening. For example, like Pengu is already catching a bit. Yeah. So Pengu is already catching a bit. This is the main CT friendly meme that everyone likes to buy on Solana. So this is already catching a bit. And you have things like bonk. Come on, load. So bonk running a lot this month, right? Up, what is this? Like 1 month up 89%. Why is bonk up? Because Pump Fund just launched their coin. And Pump Fund, I'm not buying the Pump Fund coin. Full disclosure, I don't have any Pump Fund coin. I don't think it's a good value at 5 billion market cap. But the reason why bonk is pumping is because bonk has a similar platform to Pump Fund called Bonk Fund. It does the same thing. It helps you launch memes. But bonk has a better token distribution. You see this circulating market cap versus fully diluted is very close. And bonk has a higher percentage revenue share with their token holders. So a lot of people are just, trying to front run this. There are plenty of things you can do if, say, Solana makes a run for it. If you don't want to go into the Solana ecosystem, you can go down that list, right? What are other competitors to Solana? Sui, AVAX, Aptos. These are all good choices that are hyper scalable layer 1 blockchains, usually put into the same category as Solana. You have so many things you can buy right now. There is honestly no reason for you to just jump the loop and go to mid cap, low caps right now. What I would recommend is whichever narrative you are into. Let's say you're into Solana, right? You want to see Solana run first. If Solana runs, then you look at Sui, right? You see, okay, Sui is also compared to Bitcoin. It has run in the October 2023 wave. It made a run in the November 2024 wave. And now it's just starting to show a double bottom pattern against Bitcoin. Great. So likely this is going to make highs if Solana runs and its hyperscalable layer 1 narrative runs, right? Okay, so you can pick up on Sui for a higher beta on Solana. Then you can say, okay, well, Aptos is very similar to Sui, and Aptos just continue to draw down against Sui, but each time that Sui pumps, Aptos will at least follow, similar to this right here for a bit in October 2024. Yeah, Aptos didn't even catch a bid so far for quite a long time. So if you really want some value bets of a layer 1 that's very similar to Sui, you could pick up Aptos even. AVAX, a very similar chart. I've checked this before. Fundamentally speaking, AVAX is so similar to Solana. All their adoption plays are almost directly copying Solana. And it only made a run in the October 2023 wave right here. But it did not catch a bid even in November last year. It was so small. So at some point, AVAX should make a run up. And that's likely to be after Solana makes a reversal against Bitcoin. So there are a lot of these large cap scenarios you can pick up already, just as examples. Let's see, what have I not covered? I've covered BNB already. A very standout performer by itself is Cardano. So I haven't checked Cardano for the longest time. And I just honestly there's nobody really using Cardano, to be honest. But it's such a large coin. It's included in all the ETFs. The institutions are starting to really love it. It's becoming a commodity for sure. So it's not going anywhere, right? It's not going away. And Cardano printing potentially macro higher lows against Bitcoin, right? November 2024 run, it retraced all of that move. So Cardano here is very similar to BNB, where BNB made this almost triple bottom. Cardano, double bottom almost. So plenty of things that you can get into if you believe Bitcoin is going to continue to go up, and if you follow this type of rally scenario for Bitcoin to make a 40 to 50% move above the previous high at 105, 107K, all the way to 150K, then look at all the top 20 coins that haven't run, right? You make a mental note and say you open the CoinMarketCap chart rankings 2 months from now. Bitcoin is at 150K. Imagine that this number is 150. Would BNB still be at this level? Should it not be like closer to 1,000, right? Think about how bullish the market would be if Bitcoin is already at 150K. Why would BNB not go up? Why would Cardano not have pumped? Why would Sui not have pumped? Chainlink, should it still be so shit, right? AVAX, why would it still not have pumped? There are a lot of scenarios that you can get into blue chip exposure literally in the top 20. So that's all I'm going to say. I don't really want to venture too deep into memes yet. If there's one takeaway you need on altcoins is you stay bullish. You take profit. You watch your portfolio. Don't go full on, 50% of your portfolio into low caps, but you want to stay bullish. Stay bullish by allocating in large blue chip alts, which ones are going to survive but haven't pumped yet. You got to stay bullish on those. As long as Bitcoin runs and keeps running, those will make a comeback soon. But don't ape too hard thinking you can just, throw a dart on CoinMarketCap and make an easy gain like a Altcoin season 2017 or 2021. That hasn't happened yet. But nonetheless, it's way better to stay bullish than bearish. So one takeaway, stay bullish, bet on large cap altcoins, just hold them at least for this month, right? I can pretty comfortably say as long as Bitcoin runs for this month, altcoins are going to run for a month. Let's play it one step at a time. Okay, we'll make more updates, more live streams this month, covering which coins are already rotating and running. And then once the month ends, we will revisit these charts, see if Bitcoin dominance does something similar to this, where it goes down to the 50-week SMA, but rises again, does another trap. Or maybe this time is actually different and we have a year-long altcoin bull market. We don't know until that happens. So for now, we play it slow. We control our FOMO. 1 to 2 months later, if we get the confirmation, we play it much more aggressive. We start to ape into random shit all the time. There will be a time to do that. It's just the time is not yet. Okay. Thank you guys for joining the live stream. If you like this content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you want day-to-day alpha for shitcoin trades, follow me on X at VirtualBacon0x. This is where I can post much more regularly in text format. You should check out my trading bots. These are automatic buy low, sell high strategies I use in my portfolio for large caps, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and all the portfolio altcoins I cover on the channel. I put them into these bots so you can just copy, and they have price ranges directly following my lowest entry target that I have for the bull market and my highest take profit target. For example, selling Bitcoin at 200K. It's all automated. Check them out. There's a tutorial in the description and all the links to copy. That is it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on the next video and next live stream. Bye-bye.